I've gone ahead and I've spent quite a bit of money. As you can see, I have some goodies in front of us. This guy is just a new clutch slave. We don't need to worry about him. But these guys here, this is the bread and butter. These guys in front of me, we have some brand new hard race upper control arms. I went for the black because I thought it would suit better rather than going for all the blue stuff. But we now have camber adjustability in our upper control arms. These also come with hardened rubber bushings in the rear, so we can definitely expect a lot better handling out of these guys, especially because my old ones are completely worn and rooted. So these are a well-needed upgrade that I have been putting off for quite some time because these are expensive. Next up, of course, no build is complete without having a set of nice coilovers. I've gone ahead and gone for our BC Racing BR series. I'd say BC are probably the best sort of budget-friendly options, as in you're getting the most bang for your buck with BCs. I would say they are on the cheaper side of coilovers, but they are really, really good quality. As everyone would know, if you're into Hondas, either BC or hard race are usually the go, but BC does offer a bit more adjustability. So that's why I've gone with these guys here. And I can't lie to you, they are extremely, extremely good looking. Without further ado, let's go ahead and give this car some hectic suspension mods. Alrighty, now that we are underneath, we can take a look at what we've got to take out. Fortunately, I've already got 90% of stuff out. Just these guys here are our upper control arms. As you can tell, these guys are very worn and old. There is practically no bush left on our lower ball joint. The rubber is just split, ripped, and gone. To remove these guys, simply have to come up top. We have a bolt either side. Same for the other side. So we're going to go ahead and undo those guys there. One. There's two. Alrighty. That right there is our stock upper control arm. Very boring, very simple. It does what it needs to do, but it is time to get rid of these and put in something better. There's two. Now this guy especially was really beat up, mainly because this guy would just spin and spin and spin, meaning it was super hard to put on, because throwing on a new nut, it would simply spin with the ball joint. So this guy is very glad that it's getting replaced. Now that we have gone ahead and got our control arms out, our main job right now is to make sure we can get this guy aligned as best as we can as a stock form, just so we can have it on the ground and ready for a wheel alignment at least, because we don't want to go driving around with the worst camber you've ever seen. So what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find a bolt to run through there, and I'm just going to simply measure from the bolt to the center of our ball joint there and match it with our aftermarket control arms. This is not ideal, but it's what I have. We'll simply measure from the tube to our center point. I think it might be a case of simply just throwing them in and going for a wheel alignment elsewhere. Because yeah, that's kind of awkward. Well, I guess we're throwing them in. Fingers crossed that it works. All right, they should simply just slide into the stock OEM position, and we should be able to throw our bolts straight in. The other one aligned as well. Now we don't really want to tighten them fully, as we need to essentially simulate load on them, so the bushes aren't stretched when they're actually put on the ground. So hand tight will do for now. Also, they do come fresh with some split pins, so we'll be using them later. All right, let's get this fella in. And again, we're just not gonna overly tighten them. We simply just want to keep them in place. Alrighty, we have officially put them in both sides. That's how they sit for now. Obviously I'm going to loosen them up a little bit once we have our front knuckles on and it's on the ground, then we can tighten from the top. Next up, we need to go ahead and put our CV shafts back in. Then we can put our coilovers, front knuckles, and get the whole assembly ready. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those CVs in. Alrighty, we've got ourselves and put our front CVs in. They're nice and simple. Got a little unexpectedly dirty, but that's none to worry. Now, in order to fit our BC coilovers, we have to borrow some parts from our old one. As you can see, there is no bottom fork for our BCs. We simply have to take them out off our old ones. So we're going to go ahead and do that so we can transplant into our car. There we are. Alrighty, these are quite dirty, which is a little bit annoying, but it's what we'll have to do for now. So we're going to go ahead and transplant them onto our new coilover. To place them as so. All right, I think we'll quickly do a test fit just to make sure we get the right orientation. Alrighty, we have officially locked them into place. This is how they look. They are a little bit ugly on the bottom, but that's none to worry. If we compare, we are immediately losing a fair bit of distance, so it will drop a fair bit. I'm gonna leave it like that for now, as I don't have my wheel and tire set up, so I'm not gonna bother fully adjusting them. I'm just gonna leave them as they came. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these in. Oh yeah, she's looking good now. All right, she's starting to look a lot better now, especially with those new control arms and fresh coilovers. It's looking minty. Now, of course, we are missing the big picture here. We need our front knuckles and brakes, which are still in pieces. So I'm gonna throw the coilovers in on the other side, and then we'll get ahead to assembling our front knuckles. Alrighty, here we are, and we are ready to reassemble our front knuckle assemblies. You would have seen in previous videos that we went ahead and painted our new brake calipers. We also went ahead and replaced our lower ball joints because they were ripped and torn. So you can check out past videos of that if you please. But what we're gonna do here is simply throw on our brake rotor. Just gotta be sure to line up with the brake screw holes. I'm gonna have to bash that back down. Just a heads up, do this with clean hands. You really don't want to keep any muck or grime along on your brake rotor, because that is your braking surface. You want it to be clean. So I will go ahead and clean them with some brake cleaner later, but for now, we'll just get them put together. Got our two screws. This guy just holds the rotor on like so. No need to put them on insanely hard. You just got to let them do what they need to do. We'll throw our brake caliper back on. I believe these are 18 mil, or at least these ones fit. Okay, there is our fresh hub. Obviously, I will need to put brakes in later. I do have some DBA Street Series to put in, but we can do that once they're on the car. What we'll go ahead and do, throw our brake line back on, and we'll chuck it back onto the car. There we are. Alrighty, so having a jack's probably useful once you have the nut on the bottom car, so you can sort of lift up. If we have a look under there, we've got our upper control arm ball joint aligned into the front knuckle. We need to hook up our tie rod. These are getting replaced, so I'm just hooking them up temporarily for now. And our lower ball joint is hiding away under there. We'll go ahead and tighten all of these up. Okay, not pretty, but it will do. Now that we are here, I'm going to tighten our nuts on the side there for our upper control arm, because it's pretty much an artificial load, so we can simulate what the car's like on the ground. So we'll simply go ahead and tighten those up. All right, this is a quick major update. Our front hub assemblies are all officially on. I went ahead and Threw them all together. The brakes are also bled, as well as our clutch slave. So I went through and bled both sides. They both came up pretty nice. Now I have to put in our rear shocks, which will mean throwing the whole front end together, getting it on the ground, then raising the rear. I'm not too sure how high this is gonna be on the ground. I'm gonna guess it'll be a healthy drop to start with at least, and I might not really bother dropping it too far until I actually get my wheel and tire set up. So for now, wherever it sits, that's how it's gonna sit for the moment. Unless I do get annoyed by it, then I'll drop it a little further. But that is our front setup complete. Don't mind the dangling brake line. I do have the brackets, I just have to swap them over. But yeah, everything is bled. Throw our intake back on and we'll get this on the ground. So get excited for that. About to drop it on the floor for the first time, so we'll see how blocks of wood and I can't get them off. Yeah, something ain't right. Damn, that's kind of low. Damn, that thing is low. That's gonna shoot through my fender guard, I think. I have to tuck it up again. Honestly, I don't know why I still have it. I just need to rip it out. Oh, there we go. Somewhat tuck it under. Yeah, man, that thing is slammed. I don't know how many mil that it has to be at least 100 mil, so I'm not too confident. I think I have a ruler on the floor somewhere. It's a monster truck in the back compared because it doesn't have coilovers yet, but. All right, let me find my ruler and I gotta measure that just to make sure that that's illegal. I kind of doubt that it is because that thing is low. All right, I found my ruler. And unfortunately, we are under 100 mils. So I think we need to raise it a fair bit with the front lip on, because that does give us way more coverage. Without the lift, we're probably legal, but with it, we need to come up. So we're gonna have to go ahead and raise up those coilovers on either side. So we'll be back when I can drop it on the floor again. All right, I've dropped it back down. The front lip is exactly 100 mils from the floor. So I'm hoping I can at least get away with it for a little bit. I believe that the front lip will probably be the lowest thing there is to the ground. So if that's 100 mil clear, I think we'll be okay. Same with the rears. I think if I have time later tonight, I will raise that more. But for now, I'm gonna jump onto the rears to get this thing all done. But man, that thing is slammed, dude. That looks hectic. Alrighty, moving on to our rear. They're not awfully hard to get to, but they are a little bit awkward to get to our rear coils. So what we have to do is we have to take off our speaker covers here, which they just held in by a few screws. And then underneath the speaker, then we can get a long extension down to the top side of those bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and take those off. All right, it is officially the moment of truth. We have our coilovers in hiding down there on each side. So it's time to drop it. My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping the back is going to be high enough for road legal usage. But we're about to find out. Yeah, okay, coming from this side. Oh yeah, that's way lower, but just enough where it's not gonna get me in trouble. The front might get me in trouble, but the back's definitely okay. In fact, we could probably go a little bit lower, to be honest, but yeah, definitely not gonna touch it. Bam. Got ourselves a slam Civic now. Nah, it looks hectic. I'm gonna put back on the speaker covers and then we're gonna be ready for our first drive. So we're gonna jump to that.